So I grew up in Dearborn County, actually, a little town called Logan, which was a little back then. Now it's not. It's about 20 minutes from here on North Dearborn Road. Now I live in Franklin County on what was my great-grandparents' farm. It's passed to my grandparents and my parents, and now I'm here. I got into it. I have a younger brother who tapped a couple trees at his house. When I say a couple trees, he's got a couple milk jugs and a couple taps, and I tapped about 10 trees with 5-gallon buckets. And I imagine it's a lot like an addiction, because after doing it with 10 buckets, the next year I did 40 buckets. And the next year I switched to bags and had over 100 taps using bags. In past years, I spent hours and had friends come and spend hours collecting sap to boil down. It takes about 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. And that fluctuates. Sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it can be a lot more. The process that I'm using now, I have a vacuum tube system. I have a main line and then branch lines that go to each tree and tap in each tree. Takes it to a 300-gallon holding tank, and I transfer it from that tank to another tank, which is on the back of my side-by-side, so I can bring it right up to the barn. And also new this year, I'm using reverse osmosis. A lot of people have reverse osmosis filtering systems in their houses, and what that does is the one line that comes out is crystal clear water, and the other line is wastewater. Well, in our case, the wastewater is actually the sap. The permeate is what we call that. So it comes out twice as the sugar content as it does when it comes out of the tree. So it cuts your boiling time in half, which saves us a great amount of time. To become syrup, it has to boil at 219 degrees. The boiling point of water is 212. So in the big evaporator, if I get it to about 218, I draw it off. And then I bring it to the finish evaporator where I have gas control, so when it gets to the right temperature, I can shut it off. So I get about 200 gallons, between 150 and 200 gallons of sap a day out of the trees. So. I'm a member of the Indiana Maple Syrup Producers Association. There's farms all throughout Indiana, sugar camps and maple farms. And one weekend a year, they sponsor the Indiana Maple Syrup Weekend. This year it's March 14th and 15th. We're only open on the 14th, which is Saturday. But it's a weekend to bring folks in to show them how it's done. And we also have other craft vendors as well. We'll have honey here. There's a couple honey farms that'll be here. Then we'll have a couple other vendors as well. So we make it a big weekend. We usually have a couple hundred people come through. It starts at 10 o'clock and ends at 4 o'clock. Come early if you want syrup, because it goes fast.